Welcome to New Horizons. I'm Suzanne Barnett, your host, and tonight I am really thrilled, excited, honored to introduce Nana-Dictta Graves. Nana-Dictta Graves is an accomplished artist, and she specializes in micro-mosaic art. So we're in for a really fabulous show. I do use a lot of superlatives, but boy, you are worth it. Nana-Dictta, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here, Suzanne.
So you were here 3 years ago. What has happened?
So many things had happened 3 years ago. So many different things, so many challenges. But as an artist, you go with your daily work. At the same time, so you're building a body of works to continue with shows. And within the 3 years that you've seen me, I've done a lot of shows. Practically, if I were to count, about maybe 8 to 12 shows that
Really?
I've done within the 3 years. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you've showed your art all over the world.
All over the world.
And you have a master's degree. I mean, we're not going to even go through that because that'll take part of the show. So why don't you explain what you've brought?
Well, I have here a few of my works, the micro-mosaic. Usually when you hear about people talking about mosaic, they are not specific about it. But mosaics have a broader wing. There's tile mosaic, there's stone mosaic, and there's paper mosaic. With me specializing in paper mosaic is a way of recycling materials into life, bringing recyclable materials to life or giving it a new meaning to the world. So in a way, I try to save the economy and make people happy. So the micro mosaic, as you can see around you, I have a few pieces on stage so that I can talk about it. It's not just the work that you are seeing, but the process of how I do the work with everyday materials and at the same time with a storyline perspective to help people.
How does it help people? How would you explain that?
How does it help people? Creative work really helps people in so many ways. Let's take the economy for example. A lot of people are going through so much. A lot of people have lost confidence in what they do. A lot of job loss. There's no interest. So what motivates us? What will motivate somebody? Seeing something new. Seeing something that is taken out of nothing. It kind of rekindles what they are seeing. It builds up some kind of inspiration when they see that, oh, a work of art is done from recyclable materials, something that they trash, something that they throw away, something that you wouldn't think there is a meaning to it. So that motivates people. When they hear the storyline perspective of it, it builds them courage that they can also try something.
Nobody could do what you do. I think you are the only person in the world that you're gonna show us later that you pick up stuff on the street, don't you?
I do.
And what is that, for example? Yeah.
Oh, this is some scraps from a lace material. A friend of mine did something for a church, and the leftover she put in the trash. And I said, Louise, I can have that. I will use that into my artwork. And she goes like, what are you going to use that? How are you going to use that? But it is challenging because at the time that I was picking it up, I didn't know what I would use it for. But every material has a story that will blend into an artwork that balances it out. So that's why I collect everything.
So could you tell us about your pictures?
Yes, I can. We probably should start with this one.
Yes.
Okay, this one is the old biblical story, old historical story with a children's lullaby. As I was growing out, there's a song about Daniel in the lion's den, and that's what it is. This work is titled Old Daniel. The meaning is Old Daniel, but in African language where I'm from, we call it Ata. Ata is somebody of ancient, somebody of old. with wisdom. So that's Arthur Daniel. But when you see the concept of the work, I pictured it from where I brought the story to the modern world, where somebody hears that another person have put a man with a mix of wild cat. Any human being will go like, who would do such a thing? And people are curious to see. So as you can see how they are descending down, they are curious to see, is it true? Or is this some story going around? So they come around, but you see down here, as you get here, there's a gate. They can't go beyond that. But the story about it is the empowerment from those little creatures that they won't eat Daniel up. But then it built courage and hope for him that someone will come. And that's the lullaby song. Someone will come and rescue you. The song goes like, Ata Daniel, do not be afraid. There's somebody out there to rescue you. So I think it was a very nice story for me to put it into this work. And
It's exquisite. It's absolutely exquisite,
Yeah.
your work.
the thing to do is I do them on this my cabinet series. That's old cabinets that people don't have a use of it anymore. That's what I use, and as you can tell, some of the pictures, old envelopes, old magazines, and I can show you some from here. Maybe later when we get that.
Okay, what about this picture?
This story is, the title of this work is Grandpa Story Time. I grew up in Africa, Ghana, of course. The time that I was growing up, of course, not every household has a television. But every day there is an elderly person, either grandpa or grandma story time. And at evening, you all have to gather for grandpa story time. I think here they will say something like charity begins at home. But the grandpa story time is the guiding principles that guides us, because you learn that plus what you learn from school to help you build your career as you go.
So this is Grandpa.
Yeah.
Are you in that picture?
No, I'm not in the picture. I created, if you can see the picture very well, I created where it brings people together. I have white and I have black, and it's all mixture that we are all, the togetherness of it is just amazing. That when we bond together, we can do anything and we can love one another unconditionally.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you get that message across?
I try.
Yeah.
I try to give the message across. But of course, things are challenging. But you have to keep on doing it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You love what you do.
I love what I do. I really, really do. I am blessed with it. It is a call for me, as my dean told me when I was doing my thesis in Royal Society of the Arts, and said, the work you do is a call. You just don't get up to do it. And it's true. I just don't get up to do it. It has to compile with the soul. Your soul has to be in it to guide you. I, for one, when I'm creating a work of art, I see it vividly in my mind and eyes, and I have to produce it exactly as I see it.
How do you keep that vision in your mind, Nana-Dictta?
I think it's something that is called the gift, the given gift. Because when you are in control of it, nothing can take it away. Nothing can bridge it.
Obviously. You don't even have to say it.
Yeah.
What about this picture over here?
Well, through my travels and as I go to different countries, every country has its own culture. Every tribe has its own culture. Even Ghana as a whole, I'm from the Ashanti region. You will live from Ashanti region to the northern region, and the cultures are different. So you will see someone carrying water. And water nurtures society. Water is powerful to all of us. So seeing a woman carrying water, I named this work Ways We Carry. The strength of even having such a big gourd of water over your head proves that there is strength in anything that you are geared to do in the world.
Wouldn't it be great if everybody in the world was as passionate as you in what they're doing? I mean, the good stuff, not the bad stuff.
Well, I think that I am blessed, and my aim and my goal is to give the message to the people, because I strongly believe that when people are given the right tools, they will do their good deeds with it.
You do think so?
Yes.
So you're a very optimistic person.
I am. There's no room for negative. There's room to utilize the brain. So there is room to empower yourself, empower others. If you have this plate in your hand and you have to share it among others to inspire them, then you have to do that.
You're such a good example of that. You are working on a project. Would you tell us about that?
Well, I just finished commissioned work. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I just finished a commissioned work for interior designer who heard about me and just called me and said, Nana-Dictta, I saw the work in a work of yours in city of Pittsburgh. I had done a mirror work for them, I think 4 years ago. And they said, we want you to do a mermaid on our lake for us. And I said, truly, yeah, I'll be glad to do it. And usually a work 5 feet by 3.5 takes about a good 4 months to do it, because it's tiles and rocks and stuff like that. But she said to me, she said, Nana-Dictta, I really want this as a present for my sister's wedding, which is August the 10th. And I said, oh my God, I don't know if I can pull it off, because you are looking like 2 months, 2.5 months away. I said, I will try. But the fact that I had that momentum, that trust in me, I was able to do the work within 6.5 weeks.
No.
Yes.
What did she say? What did she say?
In fact, she overpaid me for that. I'm not going to discuss how she paid me, but
that's
she
okay.
overpaid me, that she loved it. And at the end of it, the work didn't become the sister's present. It became, just look at it. It was for her to see it and not to have it.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Show us what you're doing now.
And currently, I'm working on new series for my upcoming shows, and those are on calabashes. Here in America, they call it the gourd. But, just like children's, as I was speaking of children's lullaby and stories of the ancient world that we have had around the world. This is a work that I'm doing. It's about Moses and the oasis. How Moses used the staff and strike it among the mountains, and the water gushed out. As you look, I'll turn it around here.
Fantastic.
As you see the water, gushing out. But at the same time, there are people from different regions. They are all travelers. And that's what we are in the world. We are travelers moving along. What we make in this world, we are not going to take with us. But the good examples that we set in life, we leave it as a legacy for the ones that are coming. Somebody paved the way for me. So if I'm paving the way for somebody, then that's it. That's my message that I'm doing.
Exactly. I can't believe your work. And I just wish people, I'm sure the camera will get a close-up, but it's absolutely magnificent. Was it difficult to find the gourd?
It's difficult to find the gourd. I ran into this gourd when I was in Merced. And it is one big gourd that was sitting there. Somebody had it, and I said, can I buy that? And she said, of course. What do you want to use it for? I said, I don't know, but I have a feeling one day I'm going to do something with it. And I've had it for a while, but I just don't know what I was going to do it on until the story of Moses came to me. But it came to me through a transition. Like I said, a lot of people are going through this. And I needed something that would be a storytelling, a tale that motivates, a tale that is inspiring, a tale that is uplifting. So that's what I did with the gourd.
And it has different what do you call it? You know, the levels are different. That must be very difficult to
Well,
execute.
Mosaic itself is labor intense. If anybody tells you mosaic is easy, no. It is labor intense. And mine is micro. Imagine how
I can't believe it.
imagine how tiny pieces. Let me put this away
Yes.
so that I can show you how the pieces are cut. Imagine this is how I cut them. Very, very tiny. And I use anything, any paper I can think of.
I can't believe this.
All these are old magazine papers, you know, wrapping papers, you name it. Your coffee wrapping, candy wrap, swags of fabric, potato chip, you know, you name it. I make use of whatever material comes to hand. And this is the way I cut it. They're so tiny.
Do it really slowly. Can you show the audience? I mean, they are micro.
Micro. This
But
is how
what
tiny.
kind of scissors do you have?
I have all kinds of scissors. I have surgical scissors. Then I have all kinds of scissors. You name the size, because there's difference in cutting them. There's difference in the weight of the paper
Of course.
to cut them. Then sometimes when you cut them, I was looking for one that I can show you. Sometimes I cut them something like this. Now,
Just hold it. Yeah.
yeah, something
I
like
mean,
this.
that's the thinnest thing I've ever seen.
Thinnest thing. And
Yeah.
if you can see right in that picture over there, the gold that she's carrying, this is how I cut them so that I can get it round up. I can get it flex. Now, when you cut it like that, you are not done. You have to go back and kind of flex it up, but make sure you don't cut through so that it can curve
Oh.
when you are used. So it is labor intense.
So there isn't one big piece of paper or anything
No.
in any of your work.
No. No.
Wouldn't you cheat a little bit?
No, I wouldn't. My soul wouldn't let me.
That's
Because I am doing something that is educational to the world.
yes.
I am giving a message and I have to do it. If someone asks me what is Nana-Dictta about, I tell them my work speaks for itself. So I can cheat in that.
You can't. And also, you have to have such a vast knowledge of the Bible, of everything, which you have.
Well, I grew up in a church home, so it stays with me. I was raised Christian. I'm good at it. I don't go to church every day like I should. But most of the time, if I can't, I pray to God you will negotiate, because the work I'm doing is His work.
Of course.
He leads
of
me to do
course,
it. Yeah.
Of course. How many hours a day do you work, Nana-Dictta?
Oh my goodness, Suzanne. There is no amount of time in working on a work. This work, for instance, took me 24 hours to finish. When I was doing that work, I was in a lot of pain. I had an accident, and I hurt my knee real bad. So the pain was just severe that I couldn't handle it. But I took the pain into a creative work, and that's what I did. And it took me 24 hours standing on my feet. And I stand more than I sit when I'm doing the work. It's just your mind takes you there. It is healing. It is a healing tool, because it reverses the pain to the creative mind. And that's what's unique about it.
Oh, but
Yeah.
you're so unique. I mean, probably 1 in 10 million.
I think I am
Really?
blessed,
Yeah.
but the blessing I have is to share it. I can't keep it to myself.
Of course.
I have to share it to the world.
And you
I'm-
teach also, don't
and I
you?
teach. I'm a lecturer at UC Berkeley, a guest artist lecturer. I do that not just UC Berkeley, I've done it in Merced as well. And I do it in public schools. Not just that, I do it in corporate, corporate entity as a diversity program, a way of team building. Because when you look at the work, it's not just mosaic that you're seeing. You also see something that builds patience. you have to be patient.
Oh.
Without patience, you cannot
You
do it.
cannot do it. I mean,
When
just
someone comes to my workshop and wanting to know how I do my work, the first question to them is, do you have patience? And if you don't have patience, I'm going to teach you how to have patience. And
how do you have patience?
I put a lot of toothpicks right there, and I would tell them, to pack it. I line it evenly in a box. People get frustrated about it because it's tangled all over.
Exactly.
But if you exhibit a little bit of frustration, then it's something you have to work on. It takes time. I started this when I was 13 years old. I'm not going to tell my age, but, I can say that I've done this for a good 40 years.
Nana-Dictta, let me ask you a question. When you finish one of your gorgeous creations and you just love it, it's from your heart, it's from your soul, how can you give it up?
How can I give it up? When I'm doing my work, my first scenario is this work that I'm doing will be in someone's home. And many people that have owned my work, they usually tell me, Nana-Dictta, I have the work and I have it in my bedroom. It is the last thing that I see, and it's the first thing that I see. It inspires me so much. Most of the time, it's just the story that lingers with it. Some is the colors. Some also is just that the sentimental aspect of it. Bless it with their own family.
But how do you personally, you're so generous, how can you part with it?
I think the joy part of it is to let somebody own it. And that gives me joy.
To share it, of course.
Yes, sharing.
Just think if you had kept all of these, the world wouldn't know.
And the world wouldn't know, and what will I do with it? And am I utilizing my given gift if I were to hold on to it? Is to let it go like a dove, let it fly away.
What are your next plans?
I have a couple of shows coming up. And
let's talk about that.
I have a show coming up in Malibu, coming up November.
In Malibu.
In Malibu. Yeah. I have an exhibition of recyclable art. So it's coming up. Then I have one coming up in Tiburon in February. That is linked with the Black History Month. Oh. But I'm also doing a lot of commission works right now. And like I just said, I just finished one. Pardon me, I'm kind of hoarse a little bit. Just a sip of water, excuse me.
Okay, of course. Was your last project The Mermaid?
Yes. It was a mermaid, yeah. And I have one coming up. I'm going to do a sign for the Homeowners Association on the Lake Alhambra Homeowners Association. They need a welcome to Lake Alhambra sign. So that's what I'm going to do. That's one coming up. And I have a very big one coming up also to do a fountain. A fountain that has been there since 1950. And it needed to be restored. So I'm the chosen artist for that.
So you, of course, do three-dimensional.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you find that more difficult than just one-dimensional?
No, because my goal has always been like investigating the hidden structure.
Yeah.
I like to do the impossible.
And we're just about to sign off.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot believe the hard work that you have done all of your life. You have been so successful, and it must be so difficult to have the life of an artist.
It is difficult. There are things you give up as an artist. I am married to the work that I do, because my soul is in it. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
For some darling, cute young man?
No.
No? Oh my.
I wouldn't trade it. You know,
Yeah, of course.
it is really my life. It is something that I am into it. I cannot free myself from it. Um, what I like about it is it makes difference in people's heart, and that gives me glory. And the praise goes to the Creator. Yeah.
Well, I'm just so happy to see you again. I really am. I wish you tremendous more success. Your background is fantastic. It really is. And I just wish the audience knew about all the other things that you have done. I
Well,
really do.
Well, you know, I have a website, and
Oh, yes.
usually my inspiration and word of encouragement is on my blog. So the simplest way to get it, you just Google Nana-Dictta, and all the links comes up. So
Spell it.
Nana-Dictta is Nana-Dictta. That's my first name, and I go by my first name. So you simply Google it, or you go to my website. I'm the proprietor for Nana-Dictta Fine Arts, which is all my names put together to make that name. So Nana-Dictta Fine Art comes up when you Google Nana-Dictta. So that's the simplest way. And if you need some inspiration, go on my blog. It's beautiful. People love it. Just go read it and be inspired.
So you not just do your artwork, but you also do writing too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to thank you again so much. And maybe we won't wait 3 years.
Yes.
How about next year?
Next year will be fantastic. Perhaps I will talk about how I use the dancing in the corporate world.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Lots of love and much more success even, which you will always have. And of course, not only do I thank you, I have the best crew. I tell you, I don't know what I would do without my wonderful crew. And of course, what would I do without my audience? You know what? I just thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Right.
You're wonderful.